Hey listers, I am back. I redid my intro 3 times and I'm with it, baby. But I this weekend I helped my family move or pack and whatnot. Last week I tried to make day in my life videos, but they ain't work. The air's on in the background if you can barely hear me. My voice is usually just this low or really high or something like that. But yes, last video I made an unpopular opinions, and I feel like I gotta really redo some of my videos. I don't be loud enough in my shit, and maybe it's just me. My voice ain't even deep. Like I don't get it. But y'all, anyways, this video is gonna be titled "This Means War" or "This Is War." Either or is gonna work and whatnot. Where I'm gonna talk about events that are similar to my first story time. It has something to do with shock. In this one, small part to do with shock. The other one has something to do with shock, the one who spilled tea on me. But let's get into it. I don't know what my hair is doing right now. I don't know. But anyway, this is gonna trace back to 6th grade. Oh yeah, and for those who like are just like, oh yeah, this happened years ago, get over it, baby. It already happened years ago. I'm literally sophomore in college. Like that happened years ago and whatnot. Many story times they take place damn near back in kindergarten. Not just for mine, but for multiple on YouTube. So cut that shit out. But child, anyways, let's get back. It starts back in 6th grade. It took place in gym and whatnot, where I myself was awkward. I've always been very much awkward, shy, nice, all that. So it was harder to make friends, especially after I moved. This was 6th grade. Like I moved when at the beginning of 5th grade, so it was really hard to make new friends and whatnot. So around this time I had made a friend. We're gonna call them Paint and whatnot. I made that friend after they showed me a drawing of, I would say, of animal and whatnot, and it kicked it off from there. We talked about many things from FNAF to, like, Undertale, Homestuck, many TV shows and whatnot, some cartoons as well. We talked about a lot of things. Now, in gym, there were the 7th graders and 8th graders. The 8th graders were, I'm not even gonna hold you, they was some assholes. I say this now just at the memory, but back then, if I were just meaner, I would have actually had said that they were assholes. It's how I felt. I just didn't like to say things like that back then. I was just on some different shit back then. But yeah, they literally were. A lot of times the teachers wouldn't let us, like, they wouldn't pick our own teams. We would pick our own teams and whatnot. So a lot of times me and her would be separated because we didn't have our group of friends yet. And then later along the line of 6th grade, we had a group of friends. So at the beginning, it was very nice, like, between our friendship and whatnot. Then it got worse, and I gotta say, a lot of it was because of me. I'm getting out my computer, and now normally this would be a bad idea to just expose, like, some part of myself as being in the wrong or being a butthole and whatnot. But I don't think this is a bad idea, mainly because I gotta be honest with it. I've already been honest beforehand, but not as honest as I should have been and whatnot. And this is for, like, I would say it could be like a lesson and whatnot for anybody that's even now not trying to be truthful to at least themselves about how they used to be or how they were and stuff like that, especially if you have memory of it. Because I know some people who were like damn near bullies, they don't have any memory of it because they didn't care during that time. So it's like when their victims come back to see them or when they mention it, they're just like, huh? I actually did that? Like, no, bitch, I can't be like that. I fucking remember everything. So it's like, I'm not gonna be on some that type of shit. Like, I literally remember everything. So it's kind of like, huh? But yeah. So yeah, with this, I'm gonna be as unfiltered as I can, even though, like, I have my computer right here just to have it open and whatnot. I don't know if I have any work left. I already checked, actually. I already checked this morning. I already did it. But yeah, I just have it here. But yes, we're gonna continue on with it. So as 6th grade went on with how I was being and how emotional I was getting, I've always been an emotional person, just to let you know. But it was getting to where it was like, okay, bitch, what's actually wrong with you? So as time went on and our group got a little bit bigger and whatnot, like whenever it would be people outside of our group or she would like talk to them and whatnot, I already said she, oh my gosh, what am I on? When Paint would talk to somebody else, it's like I would get jealous of some sort, or I would get like, sort of kind of like just a bit of possessiveness. It's not good. It's not good at all. This was during 6th grade. It's not good at all. But I would like get like that, or just, irritated or annoyed, and I wouldn't actually know why. I wouldn't actually know what's going on. I wouldn't actually know like why am I being like this. Even when they would like notice it and be kind of like taken off back, I would still be thinking in my head. I was just like, I don't really know, but I don't like it. I would just be on that type of shit, just like, you know. So yeah, as time went on, I got even more irrational in a sense to where I was just like, damn, she can draw better than me. It's easier for her to make friends than it is for me. She gets noticed more than me, all that type of shit. So that jealous bug, it grew, but I couldn't actually describe it. And I read a fuck ton of books and whatnot. I love reading a whole bunch of books and whatnot, and like, you know, they got bigger words, vocabulary. I knew what the fuck jealous meant back then, but for some reason I could not pinpoint this shit down. Like, I was just like, what the fuck am I on? So anyways, it had, I guess, hit a head during when 7th grade had rolled around. It hit a head in 6th grade as well, but 7th grade had rolled around. It was just like, yeah, because we had gym again. I feel like some higher being, some entity, if it's not God, it's somebody out there, would not have fated us to have all 3 years of the same class of gym together. Because I don't know if it's a test or just for her or for me or for both. Because damn, like, you know, it don't usually happen like that, you know. But anyways, 7th grade rolled around. We had our group. We had a friend and whatnot that we all 3 of us hang around together. And I would try to hang out with them as much as I could, like, you know, during our version of recess. We didn't have recess, but we had like on Friday every time, like, you know, a kind of recess and whatnot. Try to hang out with them as much as I could. And then from Paint, I would hear more about her other friend. I don't know what to call her other friend, because I don't want to say that they're important to the story. They aren't as important to the story, but nah, I'm not really gonna give them a name. They're talking about this other friend, and I was getting more like, I guess self-conscious would be the word. I was just like, why do you keep mentioning this other friend with me? I don't know who this person is. Like, I've never seen nor met them. I can't even pinpoint to you what they look like and whatnot. And then Paint was just like, oh yeah, I mentioned you to my friends as well. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's probably not bad. And then as time went on, more and more, it would be kind of like, okay, for some reason I'm still getting fucking annoyed. I don't want to hear about this person anymore and whatnot. I don't want to hear what they do, whatnot, whatever. I don't care. Like, that's the thing. One of my irrational ass moments, someone had basically broke into her stuff. Like, she had left her purse, and then someone had raided her purse. She had a lot of pencils and whatnot, because she drew a lot and did a lot and whatnot. And they had raided her stuff, and in gym it was ghetto. They didn't give a fuck, okay? They did not care. They would go through your shit. It didn't matter. It's like the teachers could not see shit happening like that. It probably happened in between lunch and whatnot, but that happened. And she liked mechanical pencils, so I handed her, like, you know, one of my mechanical pencils, or a few, and she tossed it back and said, oh no, nah, I got more. And I don't know what was in me or whatnot, but that pissed me the fuck off. And I was just like, what the fuck? Someone raided your shit. I didn't know you had more pencils and whatnot. I would have thought that was your only set, so I gave you more. And so I was, oh my gosh, man, this is embarrassing, like, to say, if I'm gonna be honest with you, but I want to be as transparent as fucking possible. So they came back, and I was a little bit just annoyed in my head, and she was just like, what's wrong? And then I looked at her, I was just like, you know, tossing shit back like that, that's fucking rude. Like, I was like that. And then it's embarrassing to say, but yeah, I was like that. And then on the bus, like, texting and whatnot. We texted every day too, by the way. Texted whatnot. I was texting like, oh yeah, you know, that was really fucking rude. That was this, that, and third. I was being a bitch about it. So yeah, then I calmed down more, and then I started like rereading what I said, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm a dumbass. Like, I was rereading it and whatnot. So yeah, that's one of my irrational moments. What was another one before the actual war event happened? Because we're 9 minutes in. I'm not saying shit. This is a lot of exposition for like some shit that I'm getting into. Like, bitch, I can't. What was another one? Another irrational moment I had was like going out there and whatnot. It was like during recess part and whatnot. I think something was going on with me. Like, I was upset about something. And then I was trying to see where they were at. I think I missed the recess part. And I was so mad, and I was texting them. And then I wanted them to meet me at the bathroom, and they looked concerned and whatnot. And then I came out, and I like was embarrassed and whatnot, because I was just like, I was being a dumbass. Like, I was just being, because I was not having a panic attack, because back then I knew what a panic attack was from like what my friends had mentioned. So I was just like, I'm not having this. So what's really going on? So I was just like, okay, whatever. So that was another irrational ass moment because one, why are you texting your friends when they're trying to have a good time and they have other friends? Why are you being all uptight and shit like that? Like, you know, that type of stuff. So yeah, so we're leading up into the war arc. Since I'm at 10 minutes in, we're gonna start it. Hold on. Now I'm gonna be as detailed as I can be because I mostly remember this part of the thing. When I was trying to recite the other ones about what I was being irrational about, I was just like, damn, I really don't. I remember these, but I don't remember them in like full great detail as I did back then. And I know it's because literally I'm in college, so of course, if it were like what, ninth grade, 10th grade, I would remember almost every detail. But since it's even more, it's kind of like, no, I can't. I don't remember shit. So it's just like, I do remember shit, but I don't remember it in like, oh my gosh. Sally, the color of their shirt was red. The texture was cotton. This, that. Just like, bitch, no. I don't remember that shit. Like, I don't fucking remember shit. But I do. But yeah, anyways. Leading up to it, this was sort of when I was getting on Paint's nerves and whatnot. Because my irrationalness, I was also like, oh, there's a moment where Paint called me clingy. I was so fucking mad. But they were probably telling the damn truth. That's probably why I was so fucking mad. But child, anyways. This was after Paint called me clingy and whatnot. And then I was being irrational another time when they were showing me a drawing. And I wasn't congratulating them on it. Because I was, I think, jealous or whatnot. I was just a bitch. Like, there was a lot of times where I was a bitch in this story, okay? But that was leading up to that and whatnot. Their friend that I mentioned earlier, where they were talking about their friend, I did not name them, and I probably fucking should have. I'm so mad now. I probably fucking should have. I'm gonna name them Orange. Just name them Orange, like, cause I'm looking at an orange bag right now. But their friend had texted me, right? Kick was just our downfall. Kick was our downfall. Okay, there's something actually wrong with us when we had that app. I don't know what the fuck we were on, but Kick was our downfall. So we were on Kick and whatnot. Their friend had texted me Orange. And they were just like, if you really have a problem, then, you know, we could really fucking deal with it and whatnot. Just coming at me all spicy. I was just like, when I got mad back then, I put my phone down and I would just, because our house was bigger and whatnot. So I'll be stomping around my house and whatnot. Not stomping, but I'd be walking around. My face was probably fucked up and whatnot because I was pissed the fuck off. I was just like, I don't know who this bitch talking to. But we not gonna be having this shit at all. I was just like that. Man. Oh my gosh, remembering it, like, you know, it's so weird to me. Like, I don't mean to smile like, oh my gosh, I'm happy. No, it's more like, why was I like this? Like, what was the fuck was I on? But I came back and I don't even remember the exact words I said, but it was something along the lines of, I don't know what fucking problem I have. I didn't curse that much, I don't think. I think I did. I don't know. But I was just like, I don't know what type of fucking problem, like, you know, you're trying to have, but we could really have one and whatnot. And be like, I don't know what your deal is. But they were just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's just that, you know, Paint had told me that, you know, you didn't like me or whatnot. And bitch, oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. I think I was a little asshole back then, because when Orange had told me that, I went back to Pink. I was just like, so now we telling people that we don't like people now. I ain't never said I ain't like this person or whatnot. And then that's when it hit ahead, because a lot of other events had occurred. It's just that I don't remember the full details of like them. They're not the most important. They're not really even that important. They were just a build up to it, like, you know. But I did mention some where I was just irrational. A lot of times I was fucking irrational, so it was understandable why it had hit this head like that. But I was just like, why are you putting words in my mouth? Like, you know, or why are you telling them I don't like them? I don't even know this person to not like them. Like, I don't dislike them. I just don't really care to be hearing about who this person is, because I don't really know them. I never met them. I don't really, like, you know, if I'm talking to you, I don't really want to talk to you about them. I don't know why. I brain farted for a second. I don't really want to talk to you about them. I want to talk to you about you and how your day is going. I don't know why the fuck I brain farted right there. I was just like, I don't really want to talk to you. I want to talk to, bitch. No, brain's working at a million speed. I need to start writing my shit down. What am I on? Then the shit had happened, bro. They sent me a long paragraph, and I couldn't fault them on that. I usually send them long paragraphs all the time. Back then, all the time, I don't know what I was on, about how They were glad about the friendship and they didn't want to be friends anymore. But I tell you, I was just like, oh my god. No, back then I'm laughing at it now because back then I know how it really was. I was distraught. I was just like, what? Why are you shocked, bitch? This was what it was leading up to. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then I was having, like, after they had sent me that, I was rereading it, and I didn't instantly start crying just yet. I had to rethink everything. I was just like, it was getting worse. Like, rational part of me for a second was getting there, just like it was getting worse. You probably should have. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm crazy. It was getting worse. I don't know why you didn't just start the friendship first, and then I started crying. I was like pissed off. I was just like, ah, while also crying and whatnot. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm the cause for this. I'm literally, I'm a dick. Like, why did I do this? Like, I was regretting everything and whatnot. I was just on that type of shit. Let me just tell you when this happened. This was the end of summertime, before 8th grade. Yeah, so before 8th grade. So when it was officially like, oh yeah, the friendship is really over and whatnot, this had led up to that head, and then as the week went on and whatnot, Monday had came around for the first official day of school and whatnot. As I'm remembering it, it may not be like 100% the details and whatnot, but as I was remembering it, Monday was it. Stop being friends with me. I had texted them Monday. I was just like, hey, is there any way like we could fix this or whatnot? Is this any way like it could be changed? And then Paint was just like, no, there is no way. And I was just like, okay. And I was like fucking depressed that whole week. I was just like, damn, I was really, what the fuck was on? And then I got really bent down in my feelings. I was deleting shit, and that was like, back then, it's kind of like I was like regretting, like, why did I delete all that? But I know why I deleted all that shit. It's kind of like you don't want to keep rehashing what the fuck happened. It's gonna bring you into an even worse mood. So a lot of it, like, I never saw it as like evidence until later on. I was just like, this is not evidence. Why am I keeping this? It doesn't make me feel good rereading this. I was such a bitch in so many of these. Why do I have these? So I deleted all of them, or a lot of them. Or instead of deleting them, I would literally get my password. I would do a super long, ridiculous password because that's how fucking difficult I was. I would put peanut 365,000 XXYZZZZ, and then I would have to remember that long ass password to put as new password, and then I could never get back into that account. Instead of just deleting the shit. I don't know what the fuck. I'm stupid. I was stupid. I'm not stupid now. I was stupid. Don't catch me on that shit. I was stupid. But I did a super long number like that just to get it out the system and whatnot. So during that whole first week of 8th grade, I was sad. I was on some shit. I was not fully depressed. I didn't know what depression actually felt like back then because I never really went through it, anything at that bad. That was my first real occurrence to where it was that bad. Like, bro. And so I never felt or had anything like this and whatnot. Keep in mind, I had another best friend at the time. They were not my only best friend and stuff. They were just like the one I would say they are my best friend a lot. Even though that other one, I talked with them more about things and related to them more. So they were more of a best friend than me and Paint's relationship. I don't even know why I was all uptight. Like, I know now, I know back then why. But looking back at it, it's like I wasn't right. Like, I wasn't doing right. I was underappreciative of the ones that been there. Like, what the fuck? But anyways, whole week wasn't feeling right. 8th grade. And then Friday came. Friday, whole day, was just waiting for the weekend to be over so I could go back home and cry. Because I was that dramatic like that. Then, as we were going to the buses and whatnot, because I was a bus rider, I heard behind me my name. Here's the thing in the 8th grade, in school in general, if I don't have class with you, you won't know who the fuck I am, basically. Like, unless you're my friend or I have class with you. I do that on purpose, because one, I was an introvert back then. Two, I was too nice to say that I didn't like people. I was too kind to say I didn't like people, but I genuinely didn't fucking like people. And 3, you don't need to know my name. Like, what do you need to know my name for? I'm not part of much of any drama back then. So I was just like, what you need to know my name for? And my name's like, I'm not gonna say my name in this. I almost said my fucking name in this. I almost said my name in this. My name is A-list, but I'm gonna say my name in this. But the type of name I have, it's like, it's easy pretty much to say. So it's like, but I don't hear it often from anybody because they don't be remembering my face. So all I heard behind me was A-list. They didn't say A-list. My real name's not A-list. You already know. But they said, A-list. And then I looked behind me and I was just like looking around me because my sense of direction is actually garbage. But this day, my sense of direction was really on point because I looked directly at who it was. It was Paint and another person who I became friends with as high school came around. But it was this person I've never seen before in my life. Their face was so unrecognizable. I've never even heard them utter my name before. So I was just like, and then I saw them, they were laughing, they were giggling, and then they split ways to go to the buses. I had a new adrenaline rush. I was filled with vigor. I didn't chase down Paint because their bus was like right there. I chased down the other friend. And I was like following, it's like my laser vision, not laser vision, my eyes were on point. I was just going through it. This is gonna be long, by the way, my bad. I was going through it. And I tapped on their shoulder. And I was just like, how do you know my name? How do you know my name? I was confused and whatnot. My expressions like basically betray me when my best friend now says my expressions betray me and whatnot. So I was just like, how do you know my name? Like who told you this? And then they were just like, oh yeah, you know, I probably didn't say it in that way, but yeah. They were saying like, oh yeah, Paint told me about it. And then they got on their bus. And I was just like, oh man. It's like when like your parents at church and whatnot, they're just like, don't say, you know, I told you not to say, you know, I'm just saying like, I'm getting to this car, we'll beat you. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. I ain't look like that. I look too fucking silly in that. But yeah, I was just so mad. I was filled with anger the whole week. I was just really sad, depressed. I was starting to be sick of myself. I was just like, I'm a fucking duck. I'm an asshole. But this time around Friday, I was filled with rage. I was just like, so I texted them on the bus. I was just like, so we thinking stuff is funny now. We thinking that like, oh, you know, stopping being friends is funny now. We thinking everything is funny now. Everything's a fucking joke and whatnot. Ha 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 ha. What the fuck? So they were just like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, you know, I only told that one person. I was just like, so now we telling everybody our business and whatnot. So I was going back and forth with Paint. I was very fucking mad. I was just like, so why are we doing this? None of the friends we share know about this shit. So why are you doing this? I was just like on that type of shit. I was just like, because I didn't feel like any of them needed to know about it. I was just like, because I didn't feel like saying it to them. I was too sad. I was just like, oh, I don't want to fucking say this. I was sick of myself already. And I was an asshole most of the time. So it's kind of like explaining to our other friend and my own friends, like, oh, I was basically like this. So that's why. It's like, damn, I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to do that shit. So they didn't know. And so when she had told her other friend, I've never met that other friend before, so I was just like, they shouldn't even be knowing my name, because I thought, oh, only like she did backtracking, she did mention before, she mentioned me to some of her other friends, so it's like you shouldn't be shocked that some of them know your name, right? But when it came to our own friends, I didn't know all of them. So this must have been a friend and whatnot who just so happened to know my name because of that. When I tell you, I was still very pissed off. I was just like, well, we telling everybody about this shit like it's a laughing matter on some real shit and whatnot. Like, you know, I ain't tell nobody. I ain't tell our in-between friends. I didn't tell my own friends because this shit's not, it's not funny. Like, I was like this towards you and then everything happened and stuff like that. I was just like, you know, it's just, this is childish shit. You say you want nothing to do with it because they didn't mention, they were just like, they didn't want nothing to do with this, nor me. After this on Monday, and then as time went on, I was just like, you didn't want anything to do with this, so why are you mentioning it to people? Why the fuck is it such an important matter for you to be telling people? So I was like, I was all the way up there, right? And that weekend, that was the start of the war. This is gonna be a part 1. I'm gonna probably make part 2 once I remember. I don't have the text messages. I don't have the evidence and whatnot. One, because that was years ago. I don't have it, so it's kind of, I didn't save the shit. One of the reasons I didn't say the shit, like how I mentioned beforehand, was looking back at it was painful. I truly was irrational at a lot of times. So it's like, why would I keep it? So it's like, yeah. Two, another reason why I didn't save it and whatnot, I guess I was just like, I was guilty. That's probably another reason. I was trying to think of it. I was just like, oh, bitch, you were guilty. No, you ain't have to think about that shit. You felt guilty. So, yeah, I was. But they have it on theirs. Paint has it on theirs. I didn't have it on mine. So, but it's not. I didn't need to show it to anybody. None of them actually asked. Like when it came to my friends and whatnot, or the in between friends, none of them had to ask and whatnot. So part two is gonna have even more and whatnot. The reason why I'm telling this story is to talk about like shit. Yeah, so talking about. That's my fat, or something like that. The reason why I'm telling you like about this and whatnot, like story times. Sometimes it's like shit happens to you, and you ain't do shit for it to happen to you. And then other times it's like, yeah, you were wrong. Like there are gonna be many story times where like I ain't do shit for people to be doing this fuckery to me. And then there are some story times where I'm just like, damn, bitch, you were in the wrong. Like, what the fuck? And for years, this is another thing. I couldn't admit that a lot of my shit I actually was like at fault for. I couldn't admit it to myself. I was too filled with guilt and regret while at the same time being mad at Paint for the other events I'm gonna tell in this part two. I was just too up in arms about shit. And it's kind of just like, you know what? It happened. Like, as long as you're not the fucking same as you were before, as long as you're actively trying to be better and not lie to yourself about what you did, like, you're good. You're trying to fix how you were then, because you know how you were then. I know how I was then. I lived in my body every day. I was fucking angry every day in middle school and in 8th grade specifically because of myself. I made myself angry. So it's like, it was a difficult time still. I'm not gonna push past that. It was a difficult time still. Like, not only because of that situation, but because of other situations as well. But it was still my fault a lot of times. So that's why I told this story. But anyway, this is the end of part one. I almost said part two. Oh my gosh. Thank y'all for watching and whatnot. I don't know if it's like, with my story times, I like doing them and whatnot. I don't know if a lot of people are really gonna see this one, but still, I still want to make it and I still want to push it out and whatnot. Shit, I don't mind. But anyways, that's it. And I love making this. May peace be with you for an eternity.